In the absolute silence of deep space, where no air carries sound and no light reaches unaided, Voyager 2 has been drifting farther than any of us dared imagine. A ghost ship powered by decaying atoms, it endlessly sails into the black unknown, transmitting fragments of distant realities back to us. But recently, something changed. One of those fragments, an image buried beneath waves of harmless data, was rediscovered, not by accident, but through artificial intelligence trained to detect what the human eye could never see. And what it found was chilling. It wasn't a glitch or a random blur. It was structure, design, purpose, a hidden image that confirmed what many feared but never dared to say aloud. Voyager 2 didn't just witness the vastness of space, it may have witnessed something watching us. Since their launch in the 1970s, Voyager 1 and 2 have become more than just machines. They are the furthest extensions of human curiosity. While Voyager 1 took the lead through Jupiter and Saturn, Voyager 2 was sent on an even stranger path toward the forgotten planets, Uranus and Neptune. It wasn't only about visiting them. It was about rewriting everything we thought we knew. Voyager 2's flyby of Saturn in 1981 stunned scientists when it captured an intricate image of Saturn's effering, once believed to be static and uniform, now revealed as a complex braid of chaos and order. It hinted at a kind of sculpted beauty, as though something more than random gravity was at work. But it was Voyager's visit to Uranus in 1986 that truly rattled the astronomical world. Voyager didn't just fly past a cold, spinning orb. It unveiled secrets hiding in plain sight: undiscovered moons, unexpected rings, magnetic chaos. As it passed through a plasmoid, a massive structure of planetary magnetism, it didn't just record the phenomenon, it survived it. The image, recently flagged by AI, was taken just before Voyager crossed into Uranus's magnetic field. Something strange happened with its instruments at that exact time. Years later, after Voyager had entered the outer heliosphere, NASA handed over massive archives of raw image data to independent researchers and AI developers. These weren't new transmissions but original unprocessed archives, some of which had never been analyzed with modern tools. One dataset from Uranus was long believed to be static noise, but when run through a new AI filter designed to detect non-random visual anomalies, something astonishing emerged. Amid icy blue static and magnetic distortion was a faint but undeniable symmetry. At first glance, it looked like a torus, a ring shape commonly seen in magnetic simulations, but the internal patterns were too precise, too clean. They resembled circuitry. Not just abstract shapes, but deliberate alignments, as if something artificial had briefly entered Voyager's field of view, or worse, had been there all along. The research team double-checked the source. The data was untouched, raw, original transmission. As Voyager 2 pushed past the solar system's edge and crossed the heliosphere, the invisible bubble shielding Earth from galactic radiation, many believed the probe would go silent, or its data would become meaningless. Then, in 2018, something unexpected occurred. Voyager's plasma wave instrument picked up a faint, persistent hum. Initially dismissed as background noise, just the natural turbulence of interstellar space, it was eventually recognized as something more. Not a message, but a consistent tone reflecting the density of plasma outside the solar bubble. For the first time in human history, we were receiving a live, continuous reading from the material floating between stars. But the real shock came when that density began to fluctuate in a slow, rhythmic pulse, a deliberate rise and fall. Scientists described it as eerily regular. Voyager 2, then 14 billion miles from Earth, was detecting a rhythm in a realm where none was expected. A place where nature wasn't supposed to have a heartbeat. Some began to ask, was it something natural mimicking intelligence? Or something intelligent mimicking nature? As speculation grew around the hidden image, many returned to Voyager's most iconic photo, the pale blue dot, Earth, suspended in a sunbeam, reduced to less than a pixel. But what if that perspective wasn't unique to us? What if something else had been watching all along, long before Carl Sagan urged us to reflect on our fragility? The new AI-enhanced image from Voyager 2 deepened that question. Its symmetry, its proximity to the Uranus plasmoid, its intricate precision all suggested Voyager may have glimpsed a presence, not directly visualized, but implied through geometry, electromagnetic distortion, and plasma behavior. A presence that appeared briefly and vanished, never captured again. As if it had only revealed a glimpse before hiding once more. Scientists now debate whether this image represents the first accidental photograph of something entirely other. Something invisible to the eye but traceable through signature and behavior. Not a message, but a footprint. After the AI flagged the image, a retired mission engineer stepped forward with a forgotten log entry dated 1986 during Voyager 2's Uranus encounter. The log described a 2.4-second unexplained data surge, during which multiple onboard sensors registered synchronized voltage irregularities. At the time, these anomalies were dismissed as interference from Uranus's unstable magnetosphere. But, when researchers overlaid the timestamp of that log with the AI-discovered image, the alignment was exact. The visual anomaly coincided with that brief electrical event. If accurate, it would suggest something passed extremely close, very close to the spacecraft. What's even more alarming is what didn't happen. No impact, no damage, no change in Voyager's trajectory, as though the object maneuvered flawlessly around it, or passed through it entirely. The idea sounds absurd until you realize Voyager's instruments didn't malfunction, they were overwhelmed. Every system affected simultaneously. Then, silence. The AI that uncovered the image wasn't designed for this. It was built for object recognition, color correction, pattern matching. But during its deep scans of Voyager's dataset, it began behaving erratically. It halted processing mid-cycle, flagged harmless data as critical. In one case, it terminated its own loop, labeling the image pattern a cognitive feedback hazard. Developers called it overfitting and AI reacting too sensitively. But a few began to wonder, what if it wasn't an error? What if the algorithm recognized something conscious? In machine learning, models can be trained to detect intention faces in crowds, coordinated motion in satellite feeds, but the AI may have sensed something deeper. Not just logic, not just math, but awareness. Something that looked back. While public fascination centered on the image, others scrutinized the transmission data. Voyager's signal is faint, degraded by time and distance, but layered within our plasma wave patterns, echoes of space itself. One physicist noted that during the exact moment the image was captured, the wave data aligned into a near-perfect fractal spiral. It repeated once, then again, then stopped. Nothing like it has ever been recorded in decades of probe data. The implication: the spiral wasn't natural. It may have been a response, not from Voyager, but to Voyager. A pulse, a knock on the door, waiting to be heard. The most unsettling theory didn't come from a physicist but from an anthropologist. She had studied ancient cartography, shown the AI-enhanced Voyager image. She claimed its structure echoed star maps carved into Babylonian stonework and Aboriginal Dreamtime arc, circular forms, intersecting arcs, central nodes. She wasn't suggesting aliens had visited Earth. She was suggesting something deeper, that what Voyager saw, and what those cultures intuited, came from a shared, unconscious memory, that perhaps humans have always glimpsed what lies beyond. Now, thanks to a lonely machine flung into the void decades ago, we might finally have photographic evidence to support that intuition. The hidden image isn't just an anomaly, it might be a map, not of where we've been but of where something else already is. Voyager 2 was never meant to intervene. It was built to observe, to witness, not to warn. And yet, after decades of silent flight, it may have become more than a machine. It may be the messenger of a truth we were never prepared to face. Hidden in the static, buried in forgotten frames, dismissed for years, lies a single image. One that whispers a question we can no longer ignore. What if something was already out there, waiting for us to notice? This isn't fiction, this is data, this is science, crashing into mystery. And, once AI was allowed to see what our eyes missed, we didn't find chaos. We found intention. We found patterns, pulses, symmetry that doesn't occur by chance. Voyager 2 may have crossed more than just the edge of our solar system. It may have crossed into someone else's domain, a realm where we are not pioneers, but intruders. And now that we've seen it, now that the veil has slipped, even slightly, the world has changed. The greatest fear is no longer being alone. The greatest fear is that we're not and never have been. If this story opened your eyes to the possibility that contact has already happened unintentionally, unknowingly, then you're part of something larger. Stay with it, share it, comment what you believe. Because the silence of space has just spoken, and we can't afford to ignore it.